So it's now recording. So again, good morning, everyone. Welcome to EDI 503. I think this pertains to philosophy and philosophies and other things. And let me share my screen so that you can have it clear here. Share. Oh my God. Where is the chat box? Okay. Okay. Again, it's we're able to see the screen. It's in the, I think I have posted this one, our Google site for this class, the EDM 503, the philosophy and principles of curriculum development and implementation. Can I hear confirmation from the group that you have seen the sharing of my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Okay,
okay,
sir.
okay,
Okay
okay,
na po, sir.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Okay, I will just simply proceed. Okay na ba akong voice? As in, how about my voice? Is it loud? Is it clear? Is it something that annoying to you, or okay lang ang voice? You can hear
Yes,
it
sir.
and
Okay ra.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Yes,
Okay ra.
sir. Yes, sir.
okay, okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
guys. Sir.
Okay, okay. The class pertains to this philosophy and principles of curriculum. Probably we are not going to use curriculum here. Oh no, sorry. We are not going to develop curriculum here, but we are most likely not just simply understand, but simply apply philosophy and principles of curriculum development and implement it in our in our class, in our or how we are going to adjust the present curriculum in our class or in our system. It might be in dip ed, it might be in higher education, it might be in TESDA. So how we are going to apply this course to our specific work in the real world of work. So somehow this course is not for us to develop a new curriculum because the government has clearly presented the curriculum for us. For TESDA, I think there's a curriculum for TESDA. There's also a curriculum for basic education, and there's also a curriculum for higher education. So may I know how many of you here are in somehow in basic education or the DIP Ed in the Department of Education? Okay, Sir Kit Adrian. Okay, you're from DIP Ed. Another one, may I hear anybody also from DIP Ed?
Alpano, sir, from DepEd.
Yes, name, please.
Alpano, sir, from DepEd.
Ma'am Alqueno is from Deep Ed also. What year? Secondary, tertiary, secondary or primary po? Elementary.
Secondary po, sir.
Secondary. So most of us here are from secondary level or elementary level. If you are from Deep Ed, please identify also if you are in elementary or if you are in secondary. So Ma'am Bondelo is in secondary. Circuit Adrian, are you from Ma'am Alquin?
Secondary, sir.
Secondary, okay. Ma'am Konisi, how about si Ma'am Konisi? Sir Oban is in tertiary. I know him. He's working in the SME. Okay.
DepEd Elementary, sir.
DepEd Elementary. Who is this one, please?
Dane Darrell, sir.
Sir, excuse me, sir. I can't hear. I can clearly hear you.
I'm okay, sir. Dane Darrell, sir. DepEd Elementary.
Okay. Uh, Dane Daryl Conisi. No, no. Is it? Are you a male or a female? I cannot. I was thinking you're a female or something because the name is Dane. Yeah, Daryl.
Male, sir.
Male. Okay. Sorry for
Okay, sir.
misinterpreting your name.
Okay
Because
lang, sir.
okay, thank you.
Mm.
Okay. Kate is from Ma'am Joy Gopela. Are you from
Yes, sir.
DepEd? Are you from DepEd
Yes, sir. DepEd or mock division, sir.
Elementary?
Elementary. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then how about Ma'am Lani Labong? Lani Labong. Ma'am Ofelia Ripalda. Ma'am Ofelia.
Secondary, sir.
Secondary. Are you teaching what particular one, ma'am, level and what
Wala pa
specialization?
sa wala pa, sir.
Okay, no problem about it. At least I know somehow what level are you in the tertiary? So only few in the tertiary here. Most are in secondary and elementary. So that could be good. This could be a good thing for us to talk about these things because I hope uh, this course will help you rethink and uh, reconceptualize the curriculum of deep ed or in TESDA. If it is in deep ed, whether it is in elementary or in secondary. So because there are so many gaps that is happening in our curriculum, especially in this the K to 12 that we are working, and I hope this course will help us and will help you find philosophies, will help you find uh, principles, theories that you could use, especially in this time of I cannot call this is online learning, but somehow it's a blended or somehow a distance learning as I understood it because it's not the real online class. It's just a matter of using using this platform, this Zoom platform that makes it somehow online. But this is not the real online class. So so let me. Have you tried to read this site, this Google site? Because this one is very important for us in dealing with our course. I I did not I did not access my LMS because somehow I'm really struggling on connecting with our LMS. Though I have already I have a platform uh, on how to design these things in the LMS, and yet I'm still struggling about it. Though I have this Google site. The Google site is much lesser in terms of navigation, and Google is or Google is quite easy to access for all of us. And I think most of us are aware of Google, and most of our research are really in Google Scholar. In so the search engine for graduate studies is basically is in Google, and the website since pandemic and even this time since the start of pandemic until this time, uh, Google platforms have not backed down so far. And though there are so many accessing the web this time, and this Google site or this Google software or search engines are still functional and effective in giving us information. So let me go first directly on the course syllabus, because this one is very important for us, for you to be clear with what you should be doing and what we will be doing in this course. Because and maybe I can note also some uh, important matters that you would like to include also in this course. First, I would like you to familiarize on our vision and mission. It's very important thing. A state university leading in research and innovation for human empowerment and societal development. There are three important things that you should consider here. Four, but four things, but uh, these are the important things that four common things, but uh, this pertains to instruction, research, uh, extension, and uh, production services that is also cascaded to the mission of the university. But you have to emphasize one important thing is this is a state university, not a private university. And this state university is leading in three important institutional outcomes. Institutional outcomes. Research, leading in research and innovation, human empowerment, and the third one is societal development. So these are the important goals that we are heading. And every time that we are going to make this curriculum, we should be aligned with these three important things. The leading in research and innovation for human empowerment and societal development. And in the mission, there are four important things that you have to consider also. One is again the one that I mentioned is research, extension, instruction, production, and uh, what are these things: instruction, research, production, and extension. Okay. Here, if you try to look at the quality policy, what is being stated in the mission and the vision are also incorporated in this quality policy statement. This one is give us the idea of how our university is heading towards that vision. This is a more strategic approach on how the university is heading towards that vision and the mission of the university. So there's no need for you. You may memorize these things, but I think there's no need for us to memorize because it's quite a long statement. There are important terms that you have to consider here. One is it is a state university, with a strategic direction, dubbed as WOW BIPSO, the wave of worthiness. The WOW means the wave of worthiness. It's a 5-year development plan. We started working it sometime in 2018, and probably it will end at 2023. This will measure how far that we have achieved the vision and the mission of the university, and what will be our performance indicators in crafting our 5-year development plan, our accomplishment in terms of research, instruction, extension, and production services. So this policy statement is taken from the the standards of ISO 9001 2015 QMS. So very important thing that you have to consider here is it's a state university, and you have to go for the strategic direction, which is WOW BIPSO, and you have to go back with the mission of the university, which is the instruction, research, production, and extension. And another important thing that you have to consider is how we achieve those things and how we come up with with the ISO standard, which is compliance with statutory and regulatory requirement, customer satisfaction, continual improvement of the QMS. So basically, it's just simply restating the vision and the mission. Plus, there's a strategic approach of the university dubbed as WOBIPSU, and the ISO standard really emphasize these three important things. One is compliance with regulatory requirement. Second is the customer satisfaction, and fourth and third is continual improvement. Uh, I hope that in your end you can clearly uh, deconstruct these terms, because what I'm doing right now is deconstructing the vision, mission, and the quality policy, and how is it being aligned from each other. So the graduate school studies goals is would be somehow this one, uh, to make BIPSU a center of manpower development to improve the quality of graduate education, emphasizing the research capabilities of the students, transforming them into creators of knowledge rather than users of knowledge. Hopefully, at the end of this program, you will come up with, I think I have given you the course requirement. There are only course requirement in my class, and there are three enabling tasks, and the rest are formative assessments that you should undergo. And as we all know, that formative assessments are recorded, checked, recorded, but not graded. However, those enabling tasks and performance tasks, those are the tasks that will affect your grade, the rating. So hopefully we can work on these things. We will not just simply go for the score, but we should be creating new knowledge, because in there is, I think in the main task, the performance task, first is you are going to make, as we go along, we just simply read on those things. So there are three course outcomes here. This is the alignment of my course with respect to the program outcomes of the graduate school. But I think the program outcomes of BIPSO is quite generic. So I don't know what will be the uniqueness of this program outcome. What will be the unique identity of the graduate in a graduate school? What they are presented, what has been presented to us is only this four program outcomes. Go for self-directed research, application, and the above mentioned skills in the research, professional, and creative work. So most likely, if you are in the graduate school, you are really inclined with research, then advanced knowledge and skills, specialized interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary field of study for professional practice. And the thing is lifelong learning. If you try to look at these program outcomes are stipulated in the CMO of the uni- of the graduate school. However, uh, I have some observations on these things, because these program outcomes are true to all graduate school programs in the Philippines. So it is only copied from the Philippine qualification framework, which is somehow needs some refinement in the future, because if this is the case, there's no clear identity of what a master student in BIPSO would be, or what kind of master graduates you are after you have finished your course in the university. So this one is not a clear identity for us, because it's a generic outcome to all program outcomes in all graduate schools in the Philippines. So if other graduate schools have this program outcome, most likely their graduates would also have these skills. So what will be the uniqueness of, what will be the graduate attributes of BIPSO then? Because you are studying at BIPSO, So what will be your graduate attribute? What will be your identity? What makes you unique from studying graduate studies versus studying in UP graduate studies? Uh, what will be your unique identity if you are studying it in other university, such as San Carlos, such as University of uh, Ateneo, La Salle, University of, and other universities around the world. So what makes you unique? If this is the case, I think at this point of time, there's no such identity for BIPSO considering you have this program outcome. Because this program outcome is taken only from your CMO, uh, Shared Memorandum Order, number 15, series to 2019. And it is the policies and standards and guideline for graduate studies, in which the program outcome for master studies are only this four program outcome. So with that, considering that the university has no clear stipulation on what other outcomes would be for your graduates, so we will just simply stick on this one. And uh, I have made three outcomes for the class. One is you have to generate a systematic survey. A systematic survey is another term is a literature review uh, on the various ways of course design using Prisma framework. I think I have given you all the materials on these things. You should be reading at this point of time. Make sure that if you are in the graduate studies, you should be reading. You should be reading, and keep on reading because you cannot create new knowledge if you just simply copy the work of others. So I have to be clear about it because if you just simply follow what the professor, what the teacher, what I might not call it teacher, but what the learning designers are giving to you in this particular course. So most likely you will not end up you will not be you will not be achieving the goals of the university, which is the creators of knowledge rather than users of knowledge. So I suggest that you should be reading and so that you will come up in a level of creator of knowledge because I believe that the more you read, the more you learn, the more the more things that will come up with you and come talking with others, talking with my god. There's somebody texting me right now. Excuse me, can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. There's
Sir,
somebody
yes, sir.
texting me right now. He cannot hear me. And can I just simply acknowledge this person? It's in the chat group. Yes, sir. How can I help you? Why do I have to do this? Because I don't want there are students who will be left behind in this opportunity that in this case. So, okay, there are three things that there are three things that probably you can look into here. The course outcome. You generate a systematic survey on the various ways of course design. On the various ways of course design. Probably we have our own academic freedom on designing our courses. And I don't know with deep ed people if they also have their way of designing courses. It might be designed by their deep ed specialists, curriculum specialists, and probably just simply follow the curriculum and probably using the module of, of using the module of what is designed by uh, deep ed. Then later on, we are going, after reading all these things, probably we can have a good assessment, gap development, or gap identification of the different studies. And after those things, we will start making questions. What are the gaps? What are the things that we need to improve in our course design? And probably by looking into these different literatures that we keep on studying as we go along in this course, hopefully you can create, your group can create a framework that somehow uh, we can adjust it and we can anchor it in a design thinking model. Have you heard about design thinking model? Have you heard about design thinking? May I know if you have heard about design thinking model?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, not yet. So a design thinking model is a model used in a Stanford University that somehow uh, one of the one of the one of the gap in designing courses is that uh, we teachers doesn't have the empathy of who will be our audience, uh, or the designer of learning rather, or the learning designers do not have the empathy on designing their courses. Most likely, they just simply design it is because it's in the pedagogical concept. It's because they design their concept in anchored in the philosophy of behaviorism and cognitivism. So there are some cases that in your case we have if you have heard constructivism is another philosophy that we have to consider that that somehow change also the orientation of these things. So but in the world today it's not more on that level of constructivism. So it's more on the design thinking model that you allow learners to 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 discover learning and you allow learners to design even on their own. You allow learners to make their assessment for their own, just go for the self assessment. You allow students to generate their own content as long as they come up with that competencies, that outcome. This one is quite radical at this point of time because it's somehow not common to us because most of us, I don't know, later I'm just going to talk uh, about this later. What are your concepts on these things? I'm going to give you some activity after this one and uh, probably try to get some data from you and uh, how we are going to function uh, this uh, this course. You are going to use the framework in designing your uh, module, your study guide, yes, we called it. Uh, because what is happening right now is DepEd is the one who designed the materials, and that materials is not contextualized in your in your class, in your own school, in your own locality, in your own barangay. So, and it's not localized on the needs of the or contextualized on the needs of the student. You might have different audience at this point of time because uh, somehow designers of curriculum, they just simply make a generic uh, conceptions on who will be their audience, who will be their students. And somehow, if they are designers in LaSalle University, in Ateneo University, probably they have different students and they have different learners from those students learning in Barangay Sampao, Almeria, Biliran. So in this case, learning strategies and learning experiences, though we have same outcome, learning experiences differ from these two different audiences. So the learners in LaSalle may have different experience from the learners in Barangay Sampao, Almeria, Biliran. So how are we going to design courses that will be contextualized? How are we going to design courses that is aligned to the competencies? How are we going to align courses that are based on outcomes and it is learner centered? How are we going to design courses that foster active participation and helping students to go for self-directed or self-determined learners in the future? So what is the common notion right now is that I hope you can also find it in your literature as you go along reading on these literatures. So I hope you can see that what is happening right now in our practice and in our teaching practice is just simply teachers are adhering on the common materials developed by the our educational system, in which by DepEd, by CHED, in which in which this development are not really contextualized to the needs of our learners in the field. So these are the best thing that we have to consider right now. And I hope as you go along, you can have makes a little bit improvement on this system. So no need to discuss these things. You have to read this one. Okay. I would like to emphasize that there's this one here. There's a QR code. You can use the QR code so that you can access the articles and you can read all those articles. So, as I said, the course outcome here is to generate a systematic review. So the first thing you're gonna do is review salient features of research studies related to various ways of course design. Sir, our 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 course is philosophy and principles of curriculum development and implementation. Why are you talking about course design? Actually, we cannot change the curriculum. It's there already. So we can just simply go back how the curriculum was crafted, how the curriculum is being planned by DepEd or by CHED. But we can also make some observation on how the curriculum is being implemented in our field. If you try to see, if you try to see the gap right now, is that we cannot change the curriculum, but we can probably have control in the design of our courses in implementing the curriculum. Because there's the curriculum will become acceptable uh, to all levels in elementary or in or secondary is accepted, is already a law, and we cannot just simply change that curriculum without repelling the law. So what we are going to do is in the level of our own field, in our own course. So therefore, the sub the sub topic or the sub context of curriculum is the course. So therefore, in that course design, we have the academic freedom to improve or to enhance what is being stipulated in the DepEd memos, in the TESDA memo, in the higher education memo, because if that is the case, we can improve that system. We can improve how it is being implemented in the field, because the designers are not the designers of this curriculum are just simply setting the minimum requirement that the students can achieve in that particular competency or outcome. But in reality, we are the players. We are the learning designers, and we are the one who can improve how students engage in their learning experiences. So therefore, di naman ta makausab dito sa curriculum, we can go in that level of course design, because the course design is still part of the curriculum, and it's part of curriculum implementation. And the course design will give us an idea on how to assess the curriculum, how to evaluate the curriculum, and how to make innovation and change the curriculum in the future. We cannot just simply stick on that curriculum that's somehow defective at this point of time. If you try to look at grade 4 level in the elementary, these are the level in which there's a high stakes summative national test assessment on the level of students in mathematics and in reading. So most likely these are the level in which the government is going to get data on to what extent that the students are learning in this particular level. So later on, it would be on uh, grade 6 or grade 7. Then later on, it would be in the grade 12 level. So these are the common assessment that is done in our regional context, in the national context, and even in the international context. So the curriculum is already there. We cannot change it easily, but we can enhance it through the implementation in our course design. So that's the reason. And I'm very much particular in the alignment of how we are going to come up with the implementation of your course design. So for example, if this one is a learning plan. If you try to look at this one, generate, and before you can generate systematic review, you have to review, then you have to appraise research articles relevant to the course development and design. Then you have to select eligible research articles based on the predetermined criteria and for systematic analysis. And later on, please do not copy. Do not copy the words of others. Do not copy the work of others. You can paraphrase the work of others, synthesize it, organize it, and make it your your own. And do not just simply copy. If there are things that you are need to copy, you need to cite those things. There would be proper citation. So after those things, after this activity, we have the course outcome. The course outcome is subdivided into intended learning outcome. That would be the review, the appraise, the select, the paraphrase. Then probably you will come up with that course outcome number 2. Uh, there are teaching and learning activities that you should be doing. I hope that you are not going to waste your time, but rather maximize your limited time. Again, do not waste your time, but rather maximize your limited time. I will give you week one this week until week 8 that will help you work on this systematic review and undergo all this process. The process here is a guide, is a learning plan for you designed by your instructor, and you should kindly follow these things. Say, for example, uh, you are asked to go for group task, and you have to go for developing critiques in screening research articles published in peer-reviewed journals and from 2020 to from 2000 to 2021. That's about 21 years of research review of all those articles relative to course design or instructional design. So these are the important keywords that you have to consider: instructional design, course design, and you have to look into journals from year 2000 until 2021. What are what what the research, what the authors of research or what researchers have said or has had said about this course design. Then you should work in a group. Then I should not be telling you nga, oh, you should be group, oh, you should ikaw Mr. Sir Nartia, you should group with mom so and so. I should not be telling you this, but you should be working as an adult learner, as a learner that somehow have the self determination to finish the course. So make sure there should, I think the group chat, I can hear I can hear everyone, I can see the text of everyone in that group chat, and probably you can organize your groupings there, and hopefully you should do those things because it's part of how we see students really, or learners really working on their task. So after which you have to make a good citation of the different studies, then probably make some discussion and forum on these things. So we can make the models. We can just simply state the models. Later on, I will give some matrix on these things, on how you come up with these things. The open discussion forum, and you have to classify different research articles because you should be reading many articles from that from year 2000 until 2021. Then I think there's a QR code here. This QR code, this one here, this QR code, use this QR code because there's already a there's already I think more than 50 articles that I have read, and I have given it to you. This is somewhat a group, a book on instructional design. That will be your basis to search for uh, further philosophies, principles, models, and other gaps in designing courses. So use this one. Now, take note, performance task. This will be the one. Uh, Make sure that, I think this is an individual work, performance-based task, or I think this is I think this is a group of 3 students. I think group of 3 students because the grupo man mo diri di ay. Okay. This would become this performance-based task. This is a group of 3 students in a group, or 3 learners in a group. Then you are going to write a 10-page or a maximum of 5,000 words systematic review on the various ways of course design. There's a criteria there. Uh, you have to make your good title about it. You have to make your good abstract of it. You have to make introduction on these things. You have a clear methods on how you come up with the systematic review, and you may also discuss the findings of your systematic review. What are the gaps that you have discovered? What are the things that you have not discovered? What are the things that needs to be improved? What are the weaknesses? What are the advantages of the previous designs and the previous models? So make sure it's only a 10-page, but somehow, please note, I want you to note this one. The generated research survey shall be verified for originality, plagiarism, and grammarly test. So I will tell you in advance that I am very much particular on plagiarism. I will run your I will run your I will run your output in a Turnitin or any plagiarism test software that they will determine if you have just simply copied it from a book or copied it from article, and it will be returned to you for improvement. I suggest you need to paraphrase if you are going to quote somebody's work. Do not copy. We may copy some elements, but I think for me, I'm going to have at least 20% originality index. So it means 20% of the things that you have stated in your article or in your work, it should you may copy those things, but the 80% you should not copy. If you cannot qualify with the 20% index, so your paper will not be accepted. So I should be clear about this one to all. And please do not test the big heart of Mr. Cabas, because I am now in the quality assurance and accreditation office. I have I really try to check on things on these things in plagiarism and other things. If you try yourself to plagiarize and try to copy the work of others, so most likely I will call. We are all teachers here. We are all teachers here, so we don't want students to copy the work of others, but we want them to become creators of knowledge, as they called it as the goal of the university. So with that, the only secret for this one is you just simply read all those materials, read all the possible materials that you should come up with this, how we design courses, and work together. If you are not going to work together, probably you will end up with cramming time, and you just simply work and just simply copy the work of others. So if that is the case, probably I will going to write letters. First, I'm going to write letter to the dean of the graduate study that you are copying the work of others. Second, I'm going to write letters to the president of the university that you are copying the work of others. Third, I will going to write the SDS of Deep Ed or TESDA or who on what particular company that you are working that you are plagiarizing the work of others. So please do not test me in this level, because I'm this quite this not putting you in a level that squeezing you up, but it's a culture that we want to emphasize to emphasize in this university. You might come up with your previous studies before that you just simply copy the cut and paste, copy and paste, and submit it to your teacher without even any efforts of reading it. Please do not try to do that in this course. And hopefully, this will be your uh, this will be your learning time, the learning experience that this one is becomes a word, is a wow level of learning experience. It's a the wave of worthiness. At the end of the course, you will say that yes, I am worthy. I am worthy that I am studying in the University of the Biliran Province State University. Uh, I think I don't know with other teachers in the graduate school in BIPSO that you have experienced, but for me, do not try to do that in my class, because as I told you, I was going to write all these peoples if you plagiarize. But we can give you some uh, options later on how to work on these things. I will not just going to write letters to them without it if you are really working on your task. But if you're not, so probably I will tell them, I will tell your head about it. I think uh, it's the concern of every university in the world today that because of this connectivity in the internet, everyone just simply copy the work of others without even citing the work of this of the people or the authors rather. So that's the one thing you have to make a survey. Then in the course outcome tree, you are going to make a framework. And again, this one here, the first one here is a group work, group of three, or let's try to agree it later kung pila ni kabuok. Tulo lang ba or pwede ba lima katao? Then here, CO3 is individual performance. So learners will review at least 5 published articles and references and write a summary of 1,000 words. Kanina is 5,000 words. Kani ka individual man is somehow 1,000 words. Kadto ganina is a literature review. It's a research survey. But this one, It's just simply trying to look into the gap. You just simply make these things. Who are the authors? What is the title of the article, the author, the year, and what is the gap after reading this article? What are the methods used in that research, the findings, and the conclusion? And what is your action? What is your future action about it? So it's just simply a matrix, but it's a 1,000 words that you need to describe. Okay. Then later on, because kamo individual mo tanan, mag-share mo tanan, then we will come up with a framework. Uh, na siya. Course outcome 3, course outcome 4 rather. Course outcome 3. Make a framework, then after making that framework, you are going to improve one of your course design. It might be in depth ed, it might be in higher education, it might be in TESDA. So it might be, if you are in depth ed, it might be in the elementary level, it might be in the secondary level. If you are in higher education, it will be on the tertiary level. So try to look at the criteria again. The criteria here is you need to make clear contextualization, clear alignment. This is based on a particular approach. It would be a learner-centered or an outcomes-based approach. It will foster engagement or it will foster self-determined learning. So make sure that your design will really work on this matter. Then these are your outputs, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are your main outputs. Then uh, a research survey on the various ways of course design. I think it's an individual work. Then there's a small group task. This a small group task 3 to 5. Then a framework. It will be your class. Then the designing of the s- the study guide or the module, a sample module that you are going to improve would be a small group. So kung if resulti ka og small group, it means that it is a what? It is 3 or 5 members. Kung mayroon ka og group, it means the whole class. So the whole class, we're going to talk and you are going to make a framework out of what you have read. Then if you are going to have this sample study applying the principles of course design, it's a study guide, it means the module, 3 to 5 members. This one is an individual work. So na individual, na 3 to 5 members, na ay whole class nga requirement. So see, so here if you try to look at this one, 25% of the tasks are somehow, the 25% of the task is only individual work, but 75% of your course requirement or your outputs will be done in collaboration. Because most common problem in in our in our in our university and in our elementary level or secondary level in terms of course design, we tend not to design it in collaboration with other teachers. So kay mingon man ka nga maestro na gud ko, wala ko kanang professional na ko, then I can design my own course. So I think that's not the concept here, but the concept is that uh, I have a research before. I tried to submit it in my course requirement, in my academic requirement, in my studies also. I have the question that why do teachers prefer to work in isolation rather than in collaboration? That's the common thing that happens in the university. So the, all these things, you can access these things on the net. Uh, then I think this is the requirement that I'm asking. And if you want some consultation with me, if we should my line is open Saturday, first Saturday, 5 to 8 p.m. I will not going to entertain Karon, okay lang ko mo reply ko sa inyo ha with all those questions nga so good pa sa akong klase, but in the future you can only I can only talk to you I can only talk to you every first Friday of the month 5 to 8 p.m. Oh, first Saturday, sorry, not first Friday. First Saturday of the month, 5 to 8 p.m. There's no other schedule that you can talk to me. If you are going to chat Monday until Friday, then Sunday, I'm not going to reply. So probably until this point of time, so good na ta karon sa tong klase, you are going to contact me or to talk to me. If you want to have a special Zoom talking with your what you are doing, you should contact me every first Saturday of the month, 5 to 8 p.m. only. Okay ba ta, ana? So hello everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. May I hear
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
I think I have discussed already my syllabus, and may I hear from you your reactions on the syllabus? Uh, I would like to ask you what other content that you would like to put here in our syllabus, and it is for me it sounds like it's a necessary requirement for us. What other things that you would like to put in this course? Okay, let me hear it from you first. So anybody who would like to suggest on something what we are going to add, and what are your reactions on this learning plan?
Sir, ang deadline sa mga kuan, sir, kanang outcome, sir, sa mga output.
Yes, that's a very good question. I always provide. Okay, that's a very good question. You can access those things in our course guide, right? Uh, the deadline would be kani man gud siya is a continuum. If you cannot finish one task, you cannot proceed to the other task. So most likely, if what will be the scheduled week for that uh, for that course outcome, that will be the deadline of that particular course outcome. Say for example, course outcome number 2, that is the deadline of it would be on week number 8. So you try to read your course guide. Try to read your course guide, because in the course guide there is the course guide. For a while, I'm now uploading my course guide. Okay, the course guide is somewhat like your syllabus, right? So kung para gani sa syllabus gihapon, pero nga rin na oras, di ba? Week 1, it would be April 10, 2021. This is what we are doing right now. Then week 1 to 8, it would be April 10 to May 29, 2021. So most likely, these are the
Okay.
outcomes. You have to read this course guide. Uh, I don't know if other teachers in the graduate schools are really helping students, especially in this time of pandemic that we cannot talk with students directly. Uh, Hopefully, there should be clear course guide for all teachers in the graduate school. For me, kung akong i-suggest kamo mga estudyante sa graduate school sa Biliran sa main campus, mingon mo, sir, paghimo pog course guide, sir, kay para masunod na mo ang mga schedule ninyo. Kay basig ang maestro lang, mangayo lang siya dito, walay klaro ba? Tagaan lang mo og syllabus nga way klaro pod. So, uh, I think I have presented my syllabus to you, and kana na siya deadline. So, after that one, natay midterm exam. Ano? Okay. Mo ni siya ang another schedule for katong course outcome number 3. Course outcome number 3, June 12 to July 3. So, July 3 na sad ang iyang deadline. Then, human, ang kadtong course outcome number 4. So course outcome number 4 would be on I'm sorry, this is not the correct one. It's not February. That would be after. It's not week 16. Na change one. Ako na change ni this one. I have to be careful with these things. I think there's something wrong with this one. So, course, so that would be on week 16. Ano sa ng week 16? Ikwintahon lang natong week 16. Mo na sa deadline anang inyong mga outputs. And in the week 17 and 18, I still have time for you to still consider your work. Kay 18 weeks naman tatanan dire sa atong study. So 17 weeks 17 to 18, I can still have time to provide expanded opportunity. If you cannot submit some of the materials, then there will be revalidation of students' learning. They couldn't revalida. I will have to conduct interview. I think each group, each learner or each student should be undergoing this revalidation of students' learning. And there will be interview on this matter, and you are going to answer some questions to validate your learning in this course. That will happen in the week 17 and 18. Then these are the protocols. You have to read the course package, I think the course syllabus, the course guide, and the course assessment. Then class engagement and class schedule. Try to read all this attendance. I would like to emphasize on this matter, plagiarism. So generally, plagiarism is a serious offense. So first offense is a reprimand. Second offense is a suspension and a grade of 5.0 in the activity or a particular task. Then sent to guidance office for counseling. Third offense, suspension, expulsion, subject to the final decision of the academic council. That's the thing that I'm telling you, that I will send letters to the dean, to the president, and to the SDS of your school. If you are found out that you are plagiarizing work, your work is you just simply copy the work of others. So I mean really serious matter on these things, because it's very rampant in the graduate school, and I cannot see the quality of it. And I'm really working in the quality office. To tell you is I'm the director of the quality assurance and accreditation of the university. So I'm very much annoyed on 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 this type of work of learners really copy and paste and submit it to teacher. So I'm very sorry about these things. We are professional on these things. I give you in advance information so that I will not encroach your professional freedom, but somehow such professional freedom has limitations of not copying the work of others. So, mo nang schedule, ma'am. So, mo ni ang grading system nato. Try to look at this one. Okay, not a formative assessment. All these formative 1, 2, 3 assessments, these are not graded, but you have to undergo these things. Then 1, 2, 3, these are enabling tasks so that you can achieve this performance task number 2. So make sure these are graded assessments. So performance task, write research survey on the various ways of course design, that's 30%. Present a written case analysis, that's 30%. Design a study guide, that's a 40% requirement. All in all, that's 100%. That makes up 80% of your grade. The midterm and the final examination is only 10% of your grade. All in all, that's only 20%. So 80% plus 20%, 100%. So I don't put much bearing on the midterm and final examination, because that's only a formative assessment. The summative assessment in these things is this is a summative assessment in my course, but the whole thing of the story of the examination is just simply a formative assessment to your comprehensive exam. So the summative examination of your course in the master's education or in the master's program is your comprehensive exam. So my course is just simply a formative assessment to that comprehensive exam. But in my course now, I call this summative examination because I'm going to conduct midterm and final examination, which is only 10% of your grade. So if you pass in these things, if you say nga, sir, nag-exam man ko, bisag nag-exam ka, hagbong gihapon ka. Actually, no, if you try to look at these things, I'm not very much particular on score. I would like to emphasize on these things. I am not particular much on the score because midterm and final examination are scores. But if you try to look at the 80%, is your performance-based task. It depends upon how you work on the course. So if you try to ask me, sir, are you really after for grade? No, I'm not really after for your grade. I'm really after for your performance. So that should be clear to us. And please do not, please, I want you to experience a one beautiful engagement in the learning, in this learning opportunity that we have, and try to learn it better, and try to be proud that you are studying in BIPSO. I might have a changed culture with respect to other teachers in the university, but I think this is how I really work with my class. I think Sir Adrian Nartia was my student, was my former mathematics students before. Uh, I really love students, but I really look into the performance tasks of the students. So any other question, please? How we
Hello,
are
sir.
going to improve? Yes,
Good morning, sir.
yes, sir, Oban.
Hello, sir. Jerome, sir. I would like to ask sir about synchronous learning session. Do we have an answer, scheduled date for that synchronous learning session, sir?
Uh, Actually, it's ingani. What we are doing right no is what we are doing right now is the synchronous class. Do not try to look. Most misconception of online learning is that they think that the synchronous class is the teacher will going to teach the student. No, especially in this level of the philosophy of andragogy, that you are teaching adult learner. So most common to us is the pedagogy. Have you heard the term pedagogy? So I think you have heard about these things that's common to all. But what is not quite common is the andragogy. You are going to teach adult, have the adult learner. And the other new term today is the eutagogy. I'm going to explain it later as we go along. But it's a matter of scheduling, and synchronous classes will be uh, normally is every week I'm going to have a class, and that would be the class that the synchronous class will lapse only for 30 to 45 minutes later next week. I'm just looking into the feedback of what will be. I'm just keep on giving feedback to students. I will not be teaching here. Do not expect that I am teaching you. Do not
Yes, sir.
expect that and I do not expect that you will be reporting to me. uh, you should be asking questions to me, and I should be giving feedback to you. That would be the work that we are doing right now. So do not expect that the common thing is class. This is this is how you are going to make the case study. No, no, that's not the real thing. That is not a graduate school study. What you are going to do here is you are going to present your issues, your concern every time that we are going to have a class. Would it be okay?
Noted, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
It's it's an end for feedbacking, sir. I agree,
Okay.
sir.
Oh, the synchronous class that we are doing, it's more on presenting your issues, your concern on how you achieve the outcome, right? It's not anymore on the level that the typical classroom that there's somebody that going to take a topic and they're going to report. That's not a graduate school study. Uh, that's not You are not studying here just because somebody will teach you. If that is the case, that somebody is just simply copying it from a PowerPoint presentation. If that somebody is just simply copying it from a book, somebody is just simply getting it from an article. Why not give the article and read it by yourself and try to ask questions and open it in our class? I'm not telling you that I can answer all your questions. But it's not on the principle of what is the answer, Johnny, but on the principle, on the paradigm of how are we going to find the answer, Johnny. Ano? I hope you were able to differentiate those things. To differentiate the things that what is the answer, Johnny, versus how are we going to find the answer, Johnny. So the synchronous
Yes, sir.
class,
Noted.
oh yes, yes, sir, Obal. The synchronous class is it depends upon the schedule is 3 hours, but it depends upon how 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 many issues, how many concerns our students are posting to the class. No, so that would be we are changing the mode of of learning opportunity this time. What I'm doing right now, I keep on providing you the schedule. I provide all the materials. It's there already. What you are going to do is read, 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 comprehend, understand, and create new knowledge. That's the thing that you are going to do. It's not on the level that somebody will going to make a report and somebody will going to explain. No, that's not a graduate school study. A graduate school study in an online in this online environment, you are going to share issues and we are going to resolve that issue. It might be somebody posted, sir, what is the common, what is the what of learning and the how of learning? It's not somebody that we're going to report on these things, but somebody posting example of this is what of learning, this is how of learning. And probably we are going to discuss about it, the how many issues that relative to this course and relative to the scheduled topic that will take it, that will be the time that we are going to spend in our class. If we have lesser issues, so therefore we can end up the class earlier. If we have more issues to resolve, it means that we are going to maximize our time on the issues that you are posting. Okay. Any other thing that you would like to share?
Sir, for clarification la, sir. So, you mentioned here sa imong kwan nga three learners lang ang sa unsingan ini ang sa small group. But then iong ka mga 3 to 5. So, ako lang clarify sir kung 3 to 5 ba jud siya. So,
Okay.
maka-adjust pud mi diri ah. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you, ma'am. That's a good question. Actually, it's I tried to measure it three members only. It's only an odd group, but do not put four. Sayop na ko 3 or 5. Sorry, delete 3 to 5. 3 or 5. Ko ako nang gi-adjust kay when I tried to read last night, I tried to read some articles that might find it that the students might find it difficult to comprehend later. So mas maayo siguro mas the more og daghan sila sa mga estudyante. Example, 50 ka book article basahon. So tag napulo sila. Kung tulo lang sila, so most likely 15 articles lang basahon. So dili ganahan magbasa ang estudyante og 15 articles. So mas maayo kung 5 siguro, 3 or 5. Ayo lang upat. Kay kung upat in terms of pag-vote ninyo kung what will be dili mo nagay ka ng majority ba. May nang add ang atong number para kuanday. Sayop day ko ga stand corrected. Thank you for the question, Ma'am Alquino. I stand corrected. I suggest this time that kung small group gani, it should be 3 members or 5 members. Kaya in kaso na disagreement, there will be votation. So most likely, majority will win. Okay na ko, ma'am?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
So any other question? In terms of any other content that you would like to emphasize, basig na ko'y content diha ba nga wala na ko nahatag, that would be a best practice in the university if you are going to generate content. Unsa kay ganahan ninyo? Sige. Unsa pay ganahan ninyo nga content nga atong i-discuss? So wa na ko nabutang nga content gari. Balik ko na ko ang mga content na ko, no? Basig na pa natay wala nato nabutang ba? Na mo'y gusto nga ibutang. So I'll be talking about the curriculum and course development. I'll be talking about different gujis, pedagogy and dragogy, utagogy. I'll be talking about philosophy of education, but I failed to put cognitivism, siguro, constructivism, connectivism, constructivism, behaviorism, or unsa pa may inyong ipamutang da, perennialism, reconstructionism, essentialism. Sige, pabutangi pa ninyo kung na pa may gusto ibutang nga philosophy of education that you would like to learn in this class. And I'm very much open to discuss it to you. And any essentialism, perennialism, behaviorism na naman, cognitivism, as pa man. You kindly add those things. These are the important theories and principles that I would like you to emphasize. The one is a self-directed learning. This one is developed by Knowles, Knowles, Knowles. Then self-regulated learning by Zimmerman. And there's another self-determined learning by Hussey and Kenyon. So these are the important. These are the new things that is happening in the world today in terms of these principles. But if you have more things that you would like to emphasize, you can emphasize these things in your class. Then the what and the how of learning, then instructional design and systemic design. I think systemic design is more on systems approach, systems theory. Uh, Basically, it started from linear way from there's a start, there's an end. Linear way of designing courses. There's another way is uh, somewhat cyclical atong motoyok first hantod motoyok balik cyclical. There's another way is helical. The helix they go together like a genetic form. There's another way is iterative design. So other things that you would like to emphasize, that you would like to discuss also, that you want me to share that I can so that I can design it well for you for your class. Then I emphasize on design thinking. Design thinking is from the D School of Stanford University. There are so many this new things that's happening in design thinking. Design thinking is a broad way of approach of designing things. It could be in the field of business, in the field of architecture, and other things, software developer, and even education. Education is the most recently one in design thinking because education mo na yung pinakaulahi mo adapt og kabag-uhan. Oo. Kaya if you try to measure, just try to see ang mga sakyanan nanay Grab, ang mga pagkaon nanay mga na po'y Grab nga food, na po'y Grab nga transportation, na po'y mga online kanang commercial, nanay online banking, nanay online nga mga pamaligya. Pero ang eskwelahan online teaching, nagkapag-uod pa. Zoom ra kutob. Wa gyud siya sakto nga learning management system. So ang pasabot perminti gyud maulihi ang academic sector. Kung transportation, kung banking, kung business, kung architecture, so many things in software design, paspas kay sila dito in terms of design thinking. But in education, I'm sorry to tell you this is mo kita uwahi kita perminti. I hope we can change that notion that hopefully the education will be the first one and will be the one to propagate the dissemination of the improvement in transportation, in electronics, in business. Ana dapat unta. Ang nabaliktad ban karon ang what is in the outside, the commercial, the medical, the other things mo na nauna usa ang education. So we have to change our thinking about these things. Then topics like curriculum practices, approaches, input-based curriculum practices. How did you implement your curriculum? Because it's in deep ed, you're applying spiral education. So most likely you're adopting Brunner's constructivism. So approaches, it depends. Are you teacher-centered? Are you learner-centered? Or are you inclined towards learner-centered? So models, there's so many models of designing courses, hundreds of them. So But the most thing is, can we design our own model? So that would be our task for this semester also, for this class also. Then frameworks. That I ask also to design you to design frameworks, because somewhat we keep on designing frameworks, we just keep on adapting frameworks, but we can we can tweak and we can improve, enhance frameworks that is contextualized to us. So mo na siya dapat i-consider na to. OBA principle, learner-centered approach, human-centered approaches, philosophies. Because somehow, what is governing to us right now is murag himo ng tao og robot. How can we feel that we are, even in online learning, in e-learning, we are really go for a human-centered, whole brain, contextualization, alignment, based on outcome, the active learning, self-determined, self-regulated, self-directed. Is I keep on going it back, keep on restating these things, because it's very important. These are very important theories today. That these three things: self-regulated, self-directed, and self-determined. Learning modalities, it could be face-to-face, blended, distance learning, and MOCC. So there are, this is a continuum of these things. So make sure that you are really working on these things. Let me ask the class: are you after for flexibility? Are you after for adaptability of learning?
Adaptability, sir.
Why?
Because kuha naman, sir, dako na mag-change. So, kinahanglan kang mo-adapt sa mga changes para you can find ways, sir, methodologies na ma-adjust sa nimo imuhang kaugalingon.
Okay. Are you a science major, ma'am?
Social studies, sir.
Very good. Okay. Because social studies are also good in reconstructionism, the philosophy of reconstructionism. They try to study on how the society works, and probably with that concepts of reconstructionism, amo na ilang common philosophy for social studies. Kay kung mayong kadiri og sciences, dahil po na ila experimental man lang dating. But somehow, again, it's not in the level of flexibility, but also in the level of adaptability things. No matter how flexible you are, no matter you incorporate face-to-face, you still have face-to-face, you have blended, you have distance, you have MOC type of modalities in learning, in which all flexibilities are applied, but the audience, the teacher, cannot adapt it. So probably there's no learning at all. So it's better to have flexibility, and also the best thing is adaptability on the system. That's good thing. So I'll be talking a little bit on augmented reality and virtual reality, but that's another good thing to discuss. Then course delivery, facilitating assessment. How did you facilitate assessment this time? In your experience po, how did you facilitate assessment this time? Anybody? Anybody in this group? How did you facilitate assessment this time? None? Hello? Anybody would like to volunteer? How did you facilitate assessment this time?
Wala pa sa field, sir.
Oh, kinsay nasa field karon nga, how did you facilitate assessment? Anybody from DepEd people?
Sir,
did
we use the parallel test, then we give the performance test to our students.
Okay, very good. So let's try to see these things. So what is the parallel test and what is that performance test? How did you design it? That could be a good thing. That would be a good input in our group today, in our class.
Test,
Yes.
parallel test, sir, is just puro parehas siya sa formative test.
Okay.
Only then ang performance test depende kung unsay need sa competency.
Okay. So how did you align those things with? How did you align your assessment task to the competency or to the outcomes of student? So that would be a good. That would be a good sharing later in our study. So, wala sa diha. Kung sa pamailain ninyong i-discuss na to, sige daw. Aside from this course design, because these are the common things that you are going to work in your in the field today? Napay lain? Wala na? Wala ba lain mo? Na may lain gusto? Kung sa'y gusto ninyo nga i-assess mo, in what manner do you like to be assessed in your learning in this course? Anybody? Kung saan mo pag-rating na mo? I'm going to ask Miss Joy Gopela. Miss Joy? Hello, Miss Joy? Wala na si Miss Joy.
Sir?
Yes, Miss Joy. So, kung sa'y ganahan nimo nga i-assess ti ka diri nga klase?
Ah,
Kung sa'y ganahan ninyo para i-assess mo ani nga klase? Yes, Ma'am Ophelia. Isa man si Ma'am Ophelia. Si Ma'am Alcueno. What will be your suggestion on the assessment of students here?
Sa atong class, sir,
Yes, sir. How are you, unsaon mo pag-assess nako? Unsay ganahan ninyo pag-assess nako? Is it because katong gihatag na akong assessment, masugot na lang mo ato?
no,
Or-
sir.
Okay. What other things that you would like to be assessed?
Siguro, sir, kuan depende sad sa among output nga kung sahay kung dili kung wala gud siya nga ingon sa criteria nga imong gihatag, kung ang yang output quality naman sad. Nana, sir ba?
So, yes, ma'am. That's a good thing. That's a good thing that you are going to work into. Every time that we have a class, my line is open. Now, next Saturday, no, di ba? Week 8 man ta. My line is open 8 to 11. Ano man siya? Okay, 8 to 11 man akong klase. 9, 10, 11. Oh, 8 to 11. Open ko. Then you can just simply post issues so that I can give feedback to you. Otherwise, if you don't post issues, I will be the one calling you. I will be the one calling you in your phone. I hope that you are going to post also your phone number so that we can also, if that, because students in the university should give their numbers to their faculty, to the teachers, and so that we can call you. What are your problems about the course? What are the things that you need? What are the materials that you need? So that in terms of assessment, we can facilitate you and we can help you pass the assessment. So, yung ana ng sistema diha.
Sir, mga tanang tapos, sir,
Yes, miss.
kanang pagpasa ba sa among output, sir, unsa through email, sir, o messenger ba?
O pwede naman nato sa sa atong I will give a platform so that you can submit that one. I'm going to use a Google form. Automatically it will generate things and you can just submit it using the Google form. You can submit it to me, and you can also submit it through my email address. I'll just give it later kung unsa nga akong ihatag na email address for this class, because kung akong email address na po ihatag tanan, mapuno akong email address sa mga estudyante. So I'll give a specific email address for this class kung ngadto na siya nato i-submit. Or you can submit it here in the GC. Ingana ka flexible na tong kuan. Word file raman na siya, PDF file na ninyo. Pwede na i-share nimo sa atong group chat. Then probably everyone can see your work and can check also their work. Kung para ma-compare po, batabangan po nimo imong mga classmate. Ano? Yes, Miss Arsenan?
Sir,
Yes, kinsa ni palihog?
Kit Adriano Ortiz, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can you just provide us the researches nga ang pwede sa sir, so that we can have our individual question. output.
Ah, circuit. I have given you. If you try to check in the syllabus, yeah, here. If you try to check your syllabus, there's a QR code. Kato nga QR code. Kita mo ato?
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay.
Na QR code.
Sir.
Oo, mga to ka doon. Muna yung kumbaga, those are the common articles
Basahonon.
or the common articles. If you want to add more,
Okay.
you can have other search engines such as Google Scholars and other things. By using the QR code, it will be directed to a particular book that is an open source book from Sage. Then probably you are going to read all those articles that probably there present. And depende sa inyong grupo kung pila mo kabuok, kung lima mo kabuok, sa inyong kagrupo diha. So, tulo or lima raman dapat ang grupo. So, mag-adjust mo, magbasa mo, then you try to look into the philosophies, the theories, the other things, and what are the gaps present on the studies presented. And do not limit yourself on these studies. You might come up with other studies that somehow relative to the things that we want to achieve. Ano? So wala na problema ang mga estudyante on pamiling sa ilang mga reading materials because in that QR code we are being directed to so many online articles already. Marag 50 plus pa na siguro siya, 60 ba na. So I have read all those things. Let's try to confirm your reading if we come up with the common perception. So, muna akong suggestion, circuit. And please do not limit yourself to have more studies to read. Dili na ni type nga study ha nga kuan kanang ang maestro mingon ikaw ha article number 1 study number 1 to chapter, my god, dili na siya ing ana then ikaw mag-report ka next meeting. No, that's not the thing. This is the typical class that you are going to present issues in your studies. Probably I will give some inputs. Nako yung mga siguro 15 to 20 minutes giving inputs to the class by presenting my PowerPoint presentation, some PowerPoint presentation, and some articles that you are going to deal with. But later on, you are also going to present your issues and concerns. So what's happening here is that the teacher is not the sage on the stage. I might be the sage on the stage today, but I will be a guide on the side next meeting or the succeeding meeting. Or even, hopefully, I could be the ace on this space. So I will not be teaching you such as the typical teacher that they are going to discuss to you. Not anymore. You should be clear about these things. So other question, please. Isa pa may lain. Sir Kit, am I able to answer the question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Nawa akong signal, sir.
Okay. How about other question? Isa pa may lain na to before we can proceed. Okay, wala question, no? So, nakoy hatag nga activity sa inyo for today. This one is part of the formative assessment.
Sir,
Yes,
excuse
miss.
sir.
Oh, yes, miss.
Pwede mangyo, sir.
Yes, miss.
Pwede pito sa grupo, sir.
Pito sa grupo. Katulad ko
Yes,
ulo.
sir.
Actually, we only have, if magpito ta, di ba ang atong dagan manggod sa atong study is karon ang mga learner dire kita tanan magbasa. Pag human natog basa, we are going to identify the gaps of all the readings, all the articles that we had read. Then after which, you are going to make a framework. Kung magpito mo kabuok, wa na mo basa sa inyo, miss. Ang mahitabo ninyo, ang mahitabo sa tong framework, there will be no various ways of course design because somehow the 30 ta kabuok sa klase, I think there are 30 students in this class. So most likely there are 4 groups. So if there are 4 groups, So ang may tabo sa 4 groups na lang, dito kita variations. Mas maayo ganig tulo-tulo lang kay mahimong napulo ka grupo. Kung napulo ka grupo, naa na siya yung mga similarities o dissimilarities. So later on, we can make a framework that somehow will show the variation of the different ways of course design. Kailangan mo yun ang pag-course design. So, kung magpito na mo kabuok, I will not encourage it because at the end of the day, mahimo na siyang upat kabuok nga case studies later. So, kanang case study ninyo, dili na kaya na siya viable nga we can see the variation of the course design. So, upat na ka variation, so murag dili na mahitabo. Most likely kanang 5 gani unom na ka grupo. So kanang unom ka grupo kay 30 man ta ka buok, ang mahitabo niya is na siya unom ya 5 ka tawo. So there are 6 issues. Kanang 6 issues or 6 variations. Most likely kanang mga variations diha will have some commonality with other ways of course design. So mahitabo mari-down pa na ang tulo. So, I will not encourage 7. Sorry for that, miss. Would it be okay?
Okay po, sir.
Sige, miss. Okay. So, ang kanigid diri basahonon na gyud siya. So, the more that you keep your group, the more that lesser ang inyong task. So, I suggest that those who are absent today, make sure that they are also coming up with or you have to contact them so that you can cooperate and collaborate with them. Any other question, please? So, padayon ta, manadto sa akong activity. Try to look at this one. There's is there any problem on how to use this site? Di ba kanilang collapsible text. Imo na siyang i-click, mo dako siya, mo gamay siya. Di ba? This one here, there's already a book that I can suggest to you. These are the materials that you should be reading. So here, there are links that for you to connect. I think this is the QR code that I'm posting in my class. Then you can also read these articles here. This link. This one is a CC na CC by. Unsay pasabot ng CC by? Kabalo mo ng CC by? Hello.
Wala, sir.
Wala di ay. Sige. Kanang naimi tayo makita ng copyrighted. Kung copyrighted, ayaw pagpangopya ana. Pero kung CC gani, it means pwede na nimo siya makopy. Kaya ang pasabot niya is Creative Commons. So it's common for everyone, is shared for everyone. So makita gay kang mga kanang copyrighted, katong copyrighted kay murag circle niya nay at kani siya CC. It means CC by this work is released under the CC by license. It means Creative Commons ang CC gimin. So kung kana di ay pwede ka mo gamit ani nga book as long as you cite people working in this group. No? Sige. Muna siya i-diferensya sa CC. I have here a worksheet. I have here a worksheet. Have you seen this one? Hello po. Hello po. Can I hear anybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you seen this one? No? This is a worksheet that you are going to work. You should submit this one. You have to answer. Do not answer worksheet number 1 and this one, worksheet number 2. This is not intended for you, but I think it's only intended for Sir Obal. This is a special work for Sir Obal. Sir Obal.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This one is worksheet. This one is a pre-activity of the worksheet. This one. You should answer all these things, right? Right. Then worksheet number
Noted, sir.
1, or worksheet number 1, worksheet number 1 and worksheet number 2, Sir Obal will going to answer this one. Especially for Sir Obal only for tertiary. Sir?
Noted, sir.
Noted. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Noted,
Sir,
sir.
Sir Obal, then next meeting, you are going to present this one. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Only worksheet 1 and worksheet number 2. But you have also, the whole class will going to answer this pre-activity. Ano? Just simply selecting. Are you after for information or are you after for knowledge? Pili lang ka. Karila ko sa knowledge. Okay. Are you after for is learning? Are you after for to have learned? So, say for example, if you select knowledge, so you just simply check knowledge. So, wala na. This will be the issue that we are going to tackle next meeting. And I'm going to discuss it one by one with all this content. So, are you after for objectives or are you after for outcomes? Are you after for sage on the stage? Are you the guide on the side? Are you after for pedagogy or are you after for andragogy? Teacher-centered versus learner-centered? Are you an instructional designer or learning designer? Wala siyang mga pangutana. Then, that will be the discussion next meeting that we are going to handle. And this is just a simple assessment, a formative assessment, so that I can understand how the class the perception of the class on how to design courses. So, okay na? Okay na ka, Sir Oval? I just want to confirm those things. Sir Terry Dagami, sir, how are you, sir? Good mornings, good noon, sir. Oh, good afternoon pa dahil.
Sir, morning.
Morning, sir. What are other things that you
Morning.
could? Yes, yes, sir. Sir, ganahan ko ni sir kay mo ni ako tong pinaka marag experienced teacher gigli siya kayo sa mathematics, I think. Sir, kumusta naman, sir? Unsa may imong ikadugang sa atong klase?
So far, wala sir. Pero gusto lang ako mag-clarify itong para sa requirements ba?
Yes, sir. Oh, sige. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing to hear students to clarify requirements. Okay. Actually, there are only 4 requirements in the class, sir. So, unsa may dapat nanto i-clarify ani, sir?
Katong sa to mga instructional design.
Okay. Sir,
himono sir?
okay, upat ra ka book atong himonon sa klase. 1 is systematic review on course design. Oo. Then the other one, kani siya systematic review on course design. Murag individual work ni siya. Oo. Kani siyang number 2, kaning number 2, sir, number 2, nakita ninyo? Kaning number 2. Case study
Yes, sir.
analysis in designing courses. So after you make this, after reading all these things, kay individual man nga work, kaning systematic review on course design, mamasa man gid mo atong gihatag nako nga mga materials, basahon man gid ninyo. Or magkagrupo na mo daan sa katong mohimo sa course study analysis. Kay kani siya individual. Kani siya group. kani siya small group. Dahil number 2 small group. Kani number 3 group. Tibuok klase nato ni. Kani siyang number 4 small group. Ako ha?
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ang number 1 kay systematic review man ang course design. Di ba nagipagbutang mo to nga pabasahon mo at least 5 articles on relative to course design. Ya maghimo mo og systematic review literature. Now, sa case study analysis, maggrupo na mo. Maghimo mo og usa ka case study nga small group na siya. So I suggest nga kadtong kay individual maning number 1, maggrupo na lang mo kay para aron kaning case study kamo magtabang na lang diha ang trabaho. Pagkahuman na tong case study, ato man ang igrupo mo. So 5 groups. So probably there are 6 outputs there. There are 6 case studies that will come out later. At least kuan siya. Pagkahuman ana sir, sa number 3, igrupo mo. Kay katong inyong case study, maghimo mo case or comparative studies on your case study, then human inyo nang i-present para makahimo mo og framework. Human, ang inyong gihimo nga framework mo na gihimo gamiton para mag-design mo og usa ka course design. Mo nang study guide or module. Oh. Di ba? So kani pong study guide tulo ni katawo, tulo 3 to 5. So ang nahitabo nimo individual, nagrupo mo, nagrupo og dako, human nagrupo og small group na sa balik sa inyong small group nga grupo. So I suggest karon pagsabot na mo kinsa inyong kagrupo. Aron dili ko mag-assign ang isa iyong kagrupo. Anyway, I will be requiring case studies and requiring study guide. Makita man ako ang mga grupo ninyo dito. Okay ba, sir?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
No
you.
problem,
Thank
sir.
you.
Okay. Kindly mute your answer and microphone. Okay. Oh, usa pa may lain. Usa pa may lain na tong ika-add. No.
Sir.
Yes, please. Who is this, please?
Lani Labong, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, mga lang, sir, kung ang article bang ang basahon kanang confine lang ba siya sa year 2000 to 2021? So what if kung makabasa mi og article nga beyond ana nga year or after anang 2021 nga year nga related sa kanang among buhaton, pwede ba na siya, sir?
Kung after 2021, dili pa na, ma'am, kay di pa man ta 2021 pa man ta karon, di pa man 2022. Ko pero sa
Oo,
no.
so ang beyond ana, sir.
Kadtong sa scope nga, mas maayo man god nga. May ko ma'am, nakoy nabasa sir 1999 or 1998 mo nang question nimo, ma'am, di ba? Yes, ma'am, pwede siya basta original work. Say for example, constructive example, ma'am, ha, example. You talk about constructivism. So ang constructivism somewhat dugay na kay na siya nahitabo. Kay si John Dewey pa man na nag-design ana. So pwede na nimo siya mabasa basta original work. No problem about it. Pwede ra basta
okay,
original work. Oo. Pero kung secondary work na lang siya, secondary articles siya, secondary resources siya, please confine. Kung ako gani suggestion gani is only 5 years kay pero mas mayo gyud 2000 to 2021 para napamoy ka ng marabog namoy leeway ba kay Simon God dili nato makita ang katibuk-an tanan. So at least namoy leeway para makakuan mo maka-search mo og daghan nga mga articles. Oo.
Okay, sir.
Okay, no problem about
Okay, thank you, sir.
So, ang ani may tabo sa tong klase. The moment you read articles, you are going to ask questions to us, to me. Kaya para ako pod, di ko matulog sa klase. So maminaw ko sa inyo ha kung unsa ang iyong issues and concern. So we are going to discuss the issue in our class. The issue may not be may be familiar to you or may not be familiar to you. So it could be or it could be it's happening in your context or something that you have read from an article. Ing ana lang siya. Or pwede pod mas maayo gyud unta kanang original concept, kanang original context ba kanang unsay nahitabo sa inyong eskwelahan. Unsay nahitabo the way you design your courses. Yun sa paghimo niyo og lesson plan, nya unsay sayop sa inyong lesson plan nga you think needs improvement. Ing ana. Yun sa ninyo pag-implement inyong K-12 curriculum, nga we have to implement that one in a sense that dili ni mao nga series of uh, nga outcomes or competencies because the competencies here are not complied or not achieved versus the competencies on the next level. So if that is the case, what you are going to do? These are issues that's happening in the course design. So mo nang inyong buhaton diha sa tong klase. So the class is very much open. We are going to make uh, more issues, more fun. Uh, the more that you will learn in changing your course design. So mura ko ako po dili ko mosulti nga I am the best thing that that you can answer because I am not a book. I am not an internet. I am a human person. So I have also my limitations. So therefore, the same thing with you that I will consider you that you are not also a book. You are not an internet that you learn, you can access everything. It's a matter of accessing information, processing it, and taking proper action on how to respond that information. So, kana siya nga mga principles. These are the common suggestions that I can give to the class on this matter. Sa pamaylain na to. Sige, mas mayo karon kay klase pasugod ya pag human didto na. I suggest you should read your course guide. Kani nga course guide oh. I will not going to entertain questions kung dili mo kabasaan ni. Kaning course guide na to. Make sure that you read your course guide. You should follow the sequence on how we are going to implement the course. Kani siya, mo ni siyang course guide. Week 1, week 2, week 3 and other things. Yan namoy ipangutana sa ako yahuman makabasa ko yahuman I think the only problem is you have not read the course guide. The only thing that I'm going to tell you is please read your course guide. Mora na gyud akong i-reply sa inyo ha. I know that you are busy. I know that you are also struggling at this point of time. The same thing with us also, my dear colleagues in the educational system in this country. Because I know you are also teachers. I know that you are also busy. If you are also busy, the same thing that we are also busy. So what we are going to do now is we have to help each one of us on how to cope up with this problem that we are in right now. So maybe in my end, I have given you the course guide, I have given you the syllabus, I have given you the site that you can access those things. Be responsible in your own learning because it's not only the role of the teacher, the role of the teacher that will govern here. There should be balance of power between teacher and learner. And if you really go for a learner-centered concept, the learner has its own role in learning. You can even decide on how I'm going to assess you in your learning. Nakabati mo, ana? Kanang you can decide on how you are being assessed. Unsa dili pa pareho ang common manggod notion nato is ang teacher ang mag-conduct sa assessment sa estudyante. Dili ang estudyante makapili og unsay iyang assessment para ma-determine ang iyang learning. Baliktad, no? Baliktad ba? But that's the real thing that we are going to do today. Because you can also design in yourself, sir, this should be the way you are going to assess me in my learning. You can suggest that to me also. It's open. Oh. Sir, kani nga topic ang pwede na kong basahon. Sir, kani nga strategy ang gusto na kong buhaton. Okay. You can also do that to me. But make sure that you also inform me before you exercise those things so that I can give you feedback about it. And I cannot prohibit you as long as it will not go out from the competency or the outcomes that we are going to achieve in this course. Gone all the days that the one who designed teaching or the one who designed teaching and learning is the teacher. That's in the pedagogical context. The what of learning, unsay content, o unsaon pag cut-on ang teacher ang magbuot, mo na siya gitawag og pedagogical context. Kung mayong ka og ang teacher mag-determine sa content, niya si estudyante ang mag-determine on how to strategize to learn, mo na gitawag og andragogical context o andragogy. Kung mayon ka og the learner and the teacher have the balance on determining what and the how of learning, that is eutagogical context. That is under the principle of connectivism. So most likely at this point of time, we are accessing this internet of things. So we are accessing this platform. So that is a concept of what? That is a concept of connectivism. That is a philosophy of connectivism that we should apply in this type of teaching and learning activity. Okay na? Okay na ta sa itong klase. Marag nataas akong istorya ani na. Wala tayo problema sa requirement. Napapay problema sa requirement? Unsa pa may inyong problema diha sa requirement? Can we have pictures this time? You can turn on your videos? Can you turn on your video so that we can end up this class if you don't have any other questions so far? Okay, so that we can see each other. Okay, I will stop sharing screen. Okay, can you turn on your video? Sir Terry, can you please turn on your video? Ma'am Arsenal, turn on your video, please. Okay, so that I can see you, so that we can take picture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12, 13. Okay. Sir Dane. Sorry po. Okay. Okay, Sir Lovely. Lovely. Okay. Ma'am Alquino, please turn on your Ma'am Lani. Okay. Okay. In 5, 4, 3. Ma'am Alquino, I have not seen. Okay. Ma'am Arsenal. Sir Nadia, what happened to your, okay, that's good. I'm waiting for Ma'am Arsenal. Please turn on your video. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay. So I think let's call it a day. I think we are done. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this. See you next week. And I hope I can hear issues from you. I can hear your concerns. I can hear your how you are going to plan. Start working with your classmates and creating your group so that next meeting I can see your group and I can plan how I'm going to work with you. Feel free to work with me. This is not a teacher and student environment. This is an environment where we are going to collaborate each other in this teaching and learning environment. We have to collaborate and we have to work together. So give me your time, give me your opportunities, you give me your issues, your concerns, so that we can help you and we can help you achieve in your learning. Thank you and have a good day. I will end this in 5 minutes, in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye bye.
Bye,
Have a blessed
sir.
day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye po. Thank you
Thank
po.
you.
Okay.
Yes,